Welcome to Deep Thought. Strong tendency for groups of people to look similar. And this is kind of connected to that subculture thing, right? That subculture thing. And then there's another aspect I'm going to talk about tomorrow. But one of the things I've noticed, and I've told you, like I said yesterday, I've been studying subcultures and stuff for a couple decades. And like I said yesterday, actually thinking about getting a PhD in sociology, focusing on subcultures. Might be something to do. Might be something to do. But whatever the case, one thing I've noticed about people who practice certain cultures, certain subcultures, they look alike. They look alike. I'm just like, what? Yeah. I'm like, wow. I'm sitting back, I'm like, it's like the same body types or same attitudes. And there's a deeper aspect to that. Trust me, I had to go I'd almost have to do an on-demand video. I can understand some of it. Well, I'll just give you a brief thing because you got some cultures that can look at people's bodies, even facial structures and stuff, and tell their general personality. Like if you talk about something like the Bagua or, some indigenous West African tribes. I'll leave it at that. But whatever the case, pay attention when you out and about and if you follow what I'm saying and you start paying attention to some of the subcultures and different groups, different groups, they start to look alike after a while. Like, okay, I always talk about body game, right? Oh, you know me. And that, and some person even identified gym bros as a subculture. Have you noticed they all look alike? They might be built alike or something. Or a lot of aesthetic subcultures where the people, they wearing the clothes the same general way. And you got some groups, if you take an honest look at them, even physically looking alike. And I was thinking about that, and yeah, it's a deeper aspect to that. Okay, like I had mentioned, like you got stuff like the Chinese Bagua, which it talks about, they can get into how different people will look, or in West Africa, you got certain indigenous groups that use, they have systems where they're looking at people and, how they might be built and everything. And, it's like, okay. And because of that, because of their personalities, they'll gravitate towards different things, towards the same things. But seriously, I want y'all to think about that. Groups who, through aesthetics or through just their fashion, there are a lot of fashion subcultures. And how people fix their hair, everything. It was like, damn, they look alike. Wow. Like similar. They look similar. Like, and that's, it's interesting because I'm trying to think hard about, well, the deaf culture. They didn't look physically alike. They had something in common, but they didn't look physically alike. And of course, you're going to get some cultures, some groups, some movements, social groups. Yeah, you probably look at them like, they don't look nothing alike. I don't know what he's talking about. But then you look at other ones and it's like, wow, they all this way, And like I say, you do got like, I'll use one example, the fat acceptance movement. They tend to look alike. Fat acceptance, body positivity tend to be big, Whether you agree with them or not, but if they in that particular movement, they're gonna look a certain way. Or, maybe a movement of people who, I don't know, got some body image issues or something, And they say, well, we ain't gonna eat or something like that. It'll be something. It's usually something. But one of the reasons why that would be is people tend to feel more comfortable with people who are similar to them. People tend to, and indeed, that's why they would join the group. Like I mentioned in the last episode, when I was talking about a tiny subculture, I mentioned briefly this Irish guy who started hanging out with some Muslims. And after a while, I noticed a change in his speech intonation and even how he actually put black color in his hair. I was like, okay. You know, because people will do it. They'll dress a certain way to fit in. Like if you talk social classes, now that could be a similar group of people. And, you know, some sociologists see them as different social groups, like as far as their behaviors and stuff. A lot of times, if you really train yourself, you can look at somebody and have a general, I'm gonna say a very general idea what their social class is. And I do mean general, because nobody can ever figure mine out anyway. Yeah, I can go from Raw Street to like bougie. But that's one of the things though, like certain groups, they actually have a dress code to them. They actually have a dress code. They actually have a code on how they wear their hair and everything, how much makeup, you know, because I know there's one group within the black community, it's a small subculture. I don't know, they don't have a specific, I just call them Earth Sisters and Earth Brothers. But one thing, they're very earthy, so it's rare they wear makeup. You ain't gonna see a lot of makeup, and you know, more likely to see locks and everything. You know, it's like wow, they all similar in some way. They have something, even they might not be phenotypically similar, but you know, you look at how they wear their hair, you know, how much they adorn themselves with makeup. You're like, oh, I see the similarities in everything. Because, well, like I said, I'll get into it in the next one. But there's and when I say strong tendency, that mean, like I said, there's always going to be exceptions. Some groups aren't, but they'll have something similar to them. You know, like you have an autistic subculture growing, autistic. And of course, they're not gonna, you know, physically look alike, but then they have something similar, you know, similar behaviors and everything. And that's one of the things that causes it, and you know, but you can tell a lot. Like, it's almost as if each group, well, most groups have a uniform. You get some groups, you couldn't tell. You gotta be around them. Like BDMSM, you can't really tell. Well, no, I take that back. Depending if you know what to look for on a person, you can get an idea. But for the most part, they probably don't look alike. And see, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it and everything. You know, they will all have uniforms or something like that. Strong tendency, something to look out for. Like if you want to like really go deeper, pay attention to different groups when you come across them. You're going to be like, oh, there's going to aesthetically a lot of similarities, aesthetically. Not all groups, of course. Like I say, it's a strong tendency, not always. Like I say, some people could be a part of something underground and they ain't going unless you, well, no, I take that back. Depending on the group, they might have something. So, anyway, that's all I have for this episode. I want y'all to think on this, all right? Peace and blessings.